The deeper you go beyond the gates, the harder it is to come back. And Bill knows this better than anyone. He keeps telling himself he can walk away, but the truth is written in his every move. He can't quit the Duprees. And what makes this story even more dangerous is that Hayley already knows it. She sees the cracks in his lies, the patterns in his choices, and the shadow of the Duprees everywhere he goes. The question isn't if he'll get caught, it's when and by whom. Bill's connection with the Duprees has always been more than just business. It's an obsession, a trap that pulls him back no matter how hard he tries to escape. He has tasted their world, the power, the secrets, the dangerous kind of respect that only the Duprees can offer. Every time he tries to leave, he convinces himself it's for the last time. Yet, like a moth drawn to the flame, he circles back, unable to resist. It is not loyalty in the pure sense. It's something darker, something that feeds his ego and blinds his judgment. He is caught between craving their approval and fearing their grip. Hayley, on the other hand, plays a different game. She has always been sharp, noticing things Bill thought were hidden. To most people, Bill's excuses sound believable. His stories line up, his confidence sells the lie. But not to Hayley. She reads between the lines. She watches his late-night disappearances, his phone that's never out of reach, the tension in his voice whenever the Duprees are mentioned. She has connected the dots, and in her silence, there is power. She doesn't call him out directly, not yet. Instead, she holds onto the knowledge, storing it like a weapon she can draw when the time is right. The Duprees are not just another family. They are a shadow that spreads wherever they go. They pull people into their circle and make it almost impossible to leave clean. Bill's biggest mistake was thinking he could be the exception. He thought he could taste the life they offered and still walk away untouched. But every choice, every promise, every small favor he accepted tied him tighter to them. And while Bill pretends to be in control, Hayley sees the truth. He's tangled up in their web, and the more he fights, the deeper he sinks. There's an unspoken tension whenever Bill and Hayley share the same space now. He talks, but she listens differently. She doesn't just hear his words. She studies the weight behind them. Bill thinks he's protecting her by keeping her out of it, but in reality, he's underestimating her. She already knows more than he imagines. That silent understanding gives her a strange calm, even as the storm builds around them. She's waiting for Bill to reach the breaking point, waiting for the moment the Duprees push him too far, waiting for her chance to reveal she's been 3 steps ahead all along. The danger is no longer just about Bill's connection to the Duprees, it's about Hayley knowing. Knowledge is power, and power changes everything. The Duprees may own Bill, but they don't realize yet that Hayley might be the one piece of the puzzle they can't control. And once she makes her move, the balance of this entire story will shift. Beyond the gates, loyalty is tested, but betrayal is inevitable. Bill tells himself that he has choices, but the truth is he has none. Every time he tries to pull away from the Duprees, something drags him back. Sometimes it's a favor he owes, sometimes it's the fear of what they might do if he walks too far, and sometimes it's the lure of what they give him: power, influence, and a sense of belonging. Deep down, Bill is addicted to the idea of being wanted, even if the price is his freedom. That is why, no matter how often he whispers promises of leaving, the Duprees always win. They know him too well. They know what strings to pull. Hayley sees all of this. To her, Bill is not a mystery anymore. She understands his weakness better than he does himself. When he comes home with excuses that don't fit, when he avoids her eyes, when he stays out late on nights he swears he was working, she doesn't need to argue. She simply watches. The more Bill hides, the more obvious his truth becomes. She has learned that silence cuts deeper than confrontation. Her quiet stares make him restless. Her lack of reaction makes him doubt himself. Without saying a word, she makes him feel seen. And that, more than anything, shakes him. But Hayley's knowledge is not just about Bill, it's also about survival. She knows that the Duprees do not tolerate weakness, and they do not forgive betrayal. If they sense Bill is even thinking about leaving, they will tighten their grip until he can't breathe. Hayley is caught in the middle of this storm. She cannot stop Bill from going to them, but she can prepare for the moment everything collapses. She's already thought about what she'd do, how she protect herself, how she might even turn Bill's secret against him if the choice becomes life or death. In episode 128, this tension could explode. Bill will likely make another move that ties him deeper to the Duprees. Maybe a deal, maybe a promise, maybe a mistake he can't undo. And Hayley will see it. She always does. But this time, she might not stay silent. This might be the episode where she finally lets Bill know that she knows. The quiet patience that has carried her until now might turn into open defiance. Imagine the shock on Bill's face when he realizes the person he thought he was protecting has been 2 steps ahead of him all along. The real question is not whether Bill will stay with the Duprees. It's clear he cannot let go. The real question is what Hayley will do with the truth. Will she stand by him even as he sinks deeper into their world? Or will she use what she knows to break free, leaving Bill to face the Duprees alone? This is the heart of the prediction. Episode 128 could become the moment when loyalty inside the gates finally cracks. And when Hayley turns knowledge into action, Bill's struggle is not just a personal weakness, it's a story about chains. Chains he chose to wear, and chains he cannot break. And Hayley is the only one who holds the key. Though she hasn't decided yet if she wants to set him free or lock the gates behind him forever, the cracks are widening. And no matter how hard Bill tries to plaster over them, the truth is seeping out. He wakes up every morning telling himself today will be different, that he will finally make a clean break from the Duprees. But before the sun sets, he's already pulled back in. A phone call here, a whispered promise there. He convinces himself he is still in control, but his actions betray him. He is not walking away from the Duprees, he is orbiting them closer and closer until escape is no longer even an option. And what he doesn't realize is that Hayley is already preparing for the collision. For Hayley, silence has been her sharpest weapon. While Bill wrestles with denial, she sharpens her instincts, piecing together the shape of his downfall. She sees how restless he is, how he checks the door twice before speaking, how he carries secrets like stones in his pockets. She doesn't need him to confess. She already knows. The difference now is that she's beginning to think about what to do with that knowledge. In earlier days, her silence was patience, a way of giving Bill room to make the right choice. But as the danger grows, patience turns into strategy. She has stopped waiting for Bill to save himself. She is thinking about how to save herself from him. What Bill doesn't see is that the Duprees aren't the only ones watching him slip. Hayley is watching too, and her gaze is colder than theirs. The Duprees might see him as a useful piece in their game, but Hayley sees him as a man caught between 2 worlds, doomed to lose both. And while the Duprees want to keep him close, Hayley may decide to push him away for good. Episode 128 could be the turning point, the moment her silence breaks and her words cut deeper than the Duprees' threats ever could. Imagine the weight of that moment. Bill, standing in the middle of yet another excuse, spinning another lie he thinks is clever enough to pass. And then Hayley finally speaks. Just one sentence, one line that shows she knows everything. That single moment could shatter him more than anything the Duprees have done. Because the one person he thought he was protecting, the one person he believed he could still keep clean, has been living in his shadow all along. Hayley's truth would expose him not just as a man under the Duprees' grip, but as a man who has lost control of his own story. And that is where the real danger begins. If Hayley chooses to confront him in episode 128, Bill will have to face a choice he cannot run from. Does he beg her to stay silent and risk her becoming another chain around his neck? Or does he try to push her away, knowing that the farther she is from him, the safer she might be from the Duprees' reach? Either way, the balance of power shifts. For the first time, it won't be the Duprees holding all the cards, it will be Hayley. Her knowledge is her weapon, and once she chooses to use it, nothing will remain the same. Beyond the gates, trust is already fragile. But when someone like Hayley steps out of the shadows with the truth in her hands, trust doesn't just break, it detonates. And in episode 128, that explosion could be the beginning of the end for Bill, for Hayley, and for anyone who dares to stand between them and the Duprees empire. The end always comes quietly at first. A whisper, a hesitation, a glance that lingers too long. For Bill, the end has already begun, even if he refuses to see it. Every deal he strikes with the Duprees, every favor he accepts, every promise he makes digs the ground beneath him a little deeper. He is standing on soil that will soon give way, and the more he tries to steady himself, the faster he sinks. Episode 128 feels like the episode where his illusions finally collapse, where the mask he has been wearing slips in front of the only person whose opinion still matters, Hayley. Hayley has been patient, but patience has a limit. She has lived with Bill's lies long enough to see them for what they are, chains wrapped in charm. For a while, she believed he might turn back, that he might choose her over the Duprees, that love might be stronger than loyalty to shadows. But with each step Bill takes toward them, that belief fades. By the time we reach episode 128, it is no longer about hope for change, it is about survival. Hayley's silence has carried her this far, but silence cannot protect her forever. At some point, she must decide whether to confront Bill or to leave him behind. The prediction leans toward confrontation. Not because Hayley wants it, but because the truth will no longer stay buried. Bill is too deep now, his actions too loud, his excuses too fragile. If episode 128 is the breaking point, we could see Hayley step forward with the words she has held back for so long. She won't need to shout or accuse. Her calm will be enough. A single truth, spoken plainly, could cut Bill sharper than any blade. In that moment, the gates he has been hiding behind will no longer protect him. He will stand exposed, not to the Duprees, but to Hayley, the one person whose judgment he cannot escape. And yet, the fallout will not stop there. If Hayley confronts him, the Duprees will feel it. They are predators who sense weakness, and nothing exposes weakness faster than divided loyalty. They will see Bill falter, they will see Hayley's strength, and they will not allow it to go unpunished. Episode 128 could mark the point where the Duprees tighten their hold, forcing Bill to make choices even crueler than the ones he has already made. He may try to protect Hayley, but his protection will mean nothing if she has already turned against him with the truth. The most haunting possibility is this: Hayley may choose not to save him. She has carried the weight of his secrets long enough, and there is a freedom in letting go. If she reveals what she knows, if she steps out of the shadows and names his sins, she could break free from the gates once and for all. But freedom always comes with a price. Her decision might leave Bill alone in the storm, swallowed whole by the very people he swore he could handle. That is the tragedy of this story. The one who cannot quit the Duprees may be left behind by the one who can. So episode 128 carries a heavy prediction: betrayal dressed as survival, loyalty shattered by truth, and a man undone not by his enemies, but by the eyes of the woman who saw through him from the start. Beyond the gates, power changes hands in silence, and in this silence, Hayley may finally take control. Bill cannot quit the Duprees, but Hayley might quit Bill, and that choice could reshape everything that comes after.